Welcome back. My name's Callie. I'm the Okayest Engineer, and this is episode 3 in a series where we are building a custom carbon fiber seat from start to finish for my kit helicopter. In the first 2 videos, we've gone over how we've designed and manufactured a foam plug, how we strengthened that foam plug and gotten it ready for the mold making process, and this video will focus on making that mold from that plug. You may notice in this video that the plug looks slightly different than the previous ones. That's because I've gone through a series, about 6 failures of trying to get a mold off of this plug, and it's been an utter disaster. I'm over this. I'm ready to be done. I'm fully embracing the fail fast mentality. It's just a huge kick in the nuts if that's your mold surface, so I think we're gonna have to pull this all apart. We sent it, and it didn't work. Well, big surprise, I screwed it up another time. I've had to resurface this plug more times than I care to admit. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to put together a video of all those failures and lessons learned so that you can learn from them. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep on keeping on and pick up where we left off and make the mold finally from a good plug. And just like that, we are back and ready to go. I went ahead and added some Bondo on all the edges where it was super rough, trying to eliminate the need to use that blue tape. I also cleaned up all these edges, made them nice and straight with a block sander, once again, just to try and help with that tape and hopefully not affect the layup going forward. We went ahead and fixed the holes in the radii. Those are nice and sturdy now, good to go. I think all this failure is kind of a blessing in disguise. Every single time I've gone back to re-sand this plug, it's turned out better and better. I noticed some ripples in here that were bothering me last time. I was probably the only one to notice, to be honest, and probably the only one that ever would have. Hold on. No, you weren't. That looks horrible. But I went and took a little extra time, block sanded those back down, and hopefully those ripples are gone. And we got it all sealed up with a nice thick layer of primer. I got a little carried away in a couple spots and got 2 pretty serious runs. While it was still wet, I used some paper towel just to dab that area up and hopefully not leave a big bulge. I do think now that there's some negative space there that we're gonna have to touch up, but there's some nice orange peel over the whole thing. I'm gonna scuff up the whole surface, bring it all back down to being pretty smooth. We'll check on those 2 spots, and if we need to add a little bit more primer, we'll just go ahead and mix a little bit more and just touch those up. And then we're back to polishing. I'm real happy with how this all turned out. Should have done it this way the first time. Got it all sanded down smooth, all the orange peel taken out. I did have a couple low spots that I went ahead and filled back in with some more primer. Not sure if that's the correct use for primer, but we're gonna go with it anyways. That way, once I'm fully finished, I'll just have one smooth single color layer of primer down that's hopefully not permeable and will give me a really nice surface to put that gel coat on. The plug is basically ready to go. We took it all the way down to a 2000 grit sandpaper, created a really nice smooth surface, almost a bit of a shine. I did sand through the primer in a couple locations. You can see here. I'm a little bit concerned based on the failures I've had before, which you'll see in another video. The main concern is that if there's any pores in these holes and the gel coat can get through, it'll eat away to the foam and will totally spoil the gel coat. So to check to see if that was the case, I have sprayed a whole bunch of acetone into these areas just to see if there is any sort of seep through. I'd see it by it eating away the foam. So far, so good. There isn't any issues, but I'll keep an extra eye on that. The next step of this process is to put on a mold release. In this case, we're going to be using Partall Paste. Basically, it's like it's a car wax, kind of, but specifically for mold use. You put it on, it goes and fills all the micro cracks and pores and gives a barrier so that when you come down with the gel coat, it won't actually adhere to the plug or the high build primer, and will hopefully have this mold pop off of the plug once we're finished making it. So the directions say to use 3 to 5 coats. I'm gonna throw down 6 just to be safe. We'll get those on and get ready for gel coat. And we are ready to go, hopefully one last time. I was 4 layers into the wax the last time and elbowed the plug and cracked it right at one of these fillets right here. So that meant I was starting all over again. It was kind of a good thing though. I did some more research to find out what was happening with the gel coat. It turns out the fairing compound that I'm using does not allow for the gel coat to cure, and there's a big warning on the label, so you should probably go read that whenever you're doing something new. But basically, I had some fairing compound still exposed from when I was sanding down some of those cracks and issues we were having before. And so as you can see, this time it is completely white. There's only primer down. It's completely sealed. There is nothing to hopefully spoil this one. I say that now, but we'll find out in a couple hours. It's either going to be good or bad. Nothing in between. We'll find out here shortly. Surprise, it didn't work. After laying down another layer of gel coat, I came down a couple hours later, and sure enough, it was cracking off again. Fortunately, though, this time I actually know what the problem is. It turns out to kick this off at 2%, you need 2 teaspoons per pint, which is basically 5 milliliters per teaspoon. And so I screwed up and was just putting 5 milliliters in when I should have been putting 10. And that basically is the reason I was having all the issues. It was kicking off at about 1% when it was supposed to be at least 2. And so sure enough, when you measure it out right, it works. I put this first layer of gel coat on a little thin. I thought that might help with the cracking, and this was before I realized I was using too little catalyst. But I'm gonna put down one more layer of gel coat just to be safe, give me a little more buffer, and then we'll throw down some fiberglass and pray to God this thing comes off the plug. Well, we're finally back after what feels like weeks of doing nothing. I actually did take about 2 weeks off from all the failed attempts because I was so frustrated with what was happening, but we're finally back. I got the gel coat down. It looks great. Stoked with how that turned out. And we can start making progress again, which I'm super excited about. So next step is to throw down some fiberglass. I have some 3/4 ounce, which is some thinner stuff that I'm going to put down first. That will contour to all the geometry really nice and get a good, I guess, adhesion to the gel coat. It's super important that there's no air bubbles or anything beneath that first layer so that the gel coat gets as strong as it can be. So once again, that's why I use the thinner stuff. And then we'll come back with some 3-ounce fiberglass and basically just back it up and make it really strong. I'm thinking 2 of the 3/4 ounce and then probably 3, maybe 4 of the 3-ounce. And that should be it for the mold. Go all the way across the edges, leave everything long. We'll trim it all once that's finished. And then last is just to hope that the actual mold will separate from the plug. So wish me luck, and let's start making some progress. The first few thin layers are completely down and cured. It worked really well, and I think I got a good adhesion between the fiberglass and to the gel coat, which was important. So all in all, I think we are progressing well. All right, we're on to the 3-ounce. So I'm going to walk you through basically how I laid this out, some of the learnings that I got from the previous couple layers, and basically show how I'm going to map this out with these pieces of 3-ounce. It looks like a bit of a hot mess now, but it'll start to make sense in a second. Basically, I'm going to lay these out. And one thing to note, I tried as best as I could to tear everything. Having these extra whiskers stick out will make it, 1, mold over the surfaces a little bit better, and 2, create a better bond. So always better to rip it than it is to cut it. So that's why you see it all ripped. And it's actually really easy to do, so not a big deal. But basically, I'm going to lay these out here on the perimeter the way it went down. And then I'll touch on kind of how I shaped it all to the actual mold. This 3-ounce stuff is a lot more difficult to conform. And so that's kind of what I'm going to demonstrate here. So we'll get all this out of the way. So this is one piece, but you can kind of tell here it's hidden. I just ripped it down into the corners to give reliefs. So it lays nice and good in these corners. Same on this side. So just tore it by hand and then pressed it down. I made sure to tear it across all these tight corners so these whiskers will conform, and then the other one will come over and conform again, but it'll make a nice good buildup in these radii, but also will give me some flexibility to get over those complex geometries. And then again, once kind of in here. So anywhere where it bunched up, basically just tore it down by hand so it lays flat, and then added all those perimeter pieces that you just saw come off. So I have them laid out now, so it'll go back on the same way it came off, and then we'll probably do this twice to make it strong enough. I let everything set overnight to fully cure, and then used a angle grinder with a cutoff wheel to cut all the excess around the edge. I was already pretty tight for real estate around those edges, so I was trying to be super careful not to take away any more than I had to. And all that was left to do was to shove some wedges in until the mold released from the plug. Yes! Oh! Oh, it's so good! Oh! Oh, I'm so stoked. Oh, so good. And here she is in all of her glory. Can't believe it came out so well. It needs to be wet sanded and polished, but that's fine. I'm wishing I would have had black gel coat because it would have shown those imperfections a little bit better. But to be fair, this thing is damn near perfect. I am so excited with how it turned out. Super happy. The plug also made it through. I was a bit surprised. I'm going to hold on to this just in case I need to make another one. But yeah, I mean, stoked. We will polish this sucker up, and in a little bit of time, we'll be throwing down some carbon fiber. This is just a quick demonstration as to how sensitive the mold will be coming off of the plug. You can see here that any blemish that was present on the plug is directly transferred over to the mold. This isn't a big deal. You can wet sand and polish this anyways, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys could see just how sensitive it is, and how perfect of an imprint that the mold takes from your plug. I was surprised to see how much easier the gel coat was to sand and polish than the high build primer was on the plug. This was started at, I believe, 800 grit, then 1000, and then 2000, followed up with some polishing compound specifically for gel coat and a rotary polisher. But I took it basically to a mirror finish. After a closer inspection, there must have been some subsurface porosity in the gel coat or something that created this sparkly effect of divots in the part. It didn't get any better the more I polished it, so we're just going to have to ship it and hope it doesn't cause a problem on the part. And we finally have a beautiful mold, which will hopefully make some equally beautiful carbon parts. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so when we do that layup, you do not miss it. If you do like this content and you want to support the channel, please consider sharing this with a friend or sending a link onto some social media. I truly appreciate it. It will help the channel and will continue to help me bring you cool content. As always, go build something cool, never stop learning, and we'll see you on the next one.